What kind of questions do we have? Oh, wow. Shortest class ever. It's going to be a high and by. What kind of questions do we have? That means you folks at home as well. What kind of questions do we have? So we're ready for the exam today. I have it printed. I'm ready to give it. I don't have a problem with it. Like, wow, not that ready. I'm not that ready for it. Wow, this recording is going to be like anticlimactic. They're gonna be like, play. Any writing? Is there going to be anything at all? Uh-huh. Man, those are some good questions. I mean, look at all these questions coming in from chat. Oof. Look at all those questions. So many questions. None whatsoever. Yes? Who's going to do number 14? Everybody saw the cheat sheet too? Nope. Because you know that someone's going to start writing things on the side and everything else, right? Yeah. See, this is a question asked by a girl that wouldn't be cheating. But others would be like, yes, I get to write. Who's going to do number 14? All right. I guess nobody's doing number 14. What's wrong with number 14? Did you do 15? Well, I guess it is kind of different. 14 is just expanding. That's all it is. It's just expanding. Sure. I'll do one better. Mm-hmm. Yeah, number 14 is just expanding. Product quotient rule, and then power rule. Huh? Yeah, the seventh root becomes 1/7 because of the sun and the grass and the dirt, or the roots, I should say. It comes down because of the power rule. Mm-hmm. Nothing. The whole purpose of the x greater than 8 is to make sure that this thing doesn't become undefined. Because if it go to 8, then the fraction will be undefined. You can move the log base 5 and then change it from log form to exponent form. Huh? Nope. You can't. unless you change the 2 to a log base 5. You could do that. You change the 2 to a log base 5, then you have a product rule on the right side. And is equal to the parentheses on the left side, and then you solve. So I sent you through Canvas the answer key for lab work 9. Is that right? Did everybody receive that? It looks something like this. Now here's my question. Based on your work on lab work 9 that you did, based on this, what grade would you give yourself in that rubric? So in your lab work 9, I purposely did not grade it because I'm really wondering, when you guys receive this right here in your Canvas inbox, based on this work right here, and based on the rubric, what kind of grade would you give it? So everybody open the lab work 9. So here's the rubric. Well, actually, I changed this rubric, so it's still the same thing. So it's still 3, 2, 1. There's no 0. So the top is 3, 2, 1. The bottom is 2, 1, 0. So looking at that rubric, and looking at this right here that I sent you, how would you grade yourself? So in terms of what we know, I would want essentially everything that's here. If you miss 1 or 2 things in there, then it's a 2 out of 3. Okay? So I want you to look at your lab work 9. If you missed something into what we know, I want you to give yourself a 2 out of 3. If you got everything in here, then I want you guys to give yourself a 3 out of 3. If you wrote nothing, or you're missing a lot of these pieces, give yourself a 1 out of 3. So please do that. Next, work and understanding. Did you show some of these work here? Are we missing some of these pieces? If you're missing some of the pieces, give yourself a 2 out of 3. If you have all of this work, give yourself a 3 out of 3. If you hardly show any work, give yourself a 1 out of 3. Okay? Math accuracy. Do we make any mistakes when we're getting the 100 or the 48, or when we factored, is the work correct? If it's good, if the work looks good, give yourself a 2 out of 2. If you made a mistake somewhere and you made a math error, give yourself a 1 out of 2. And then the last thing was a scan. If on your scan you see some spiros, take off a point. Give yourself a 1 out of 2. If you see like a thumb in there, give yourself a 1 out of 2. If you see shadows, give yourself a 1 out of 2. If there's none of those things, give yourself a 2 out of 2. I have two things. I have two lab works here that I gave a 0 because I can't read this. I don't know how else to explain it to them besides saying that this is not acceptable. So they have 1, 2, 3, 4 pages in one sheet that doesn't go all the way. And then this just scanned the whole notebook. Which has none of you guys. It is none of you guys, by the way. This is my intermediate algebra. So, appropriately so. It happens. So do you guys have a score in your mind right now? Yes? No? How about you guys at home? Any questions so far? Do you have a score in our mind? So again, the what we know, if you're missing some of these what we know, now, it doesn't have to be exactly this, right? It could be your wording. But if you essentially have most of these things already, wow, I guess that's as small as it goes. If you have most of these things in a different way of saying it, I'm good with the 3 out of 3. But if you didn't mention anything about the form of an ellipse, or talked about other forms of the ellipse, you should take off a point. So that's it'll be a 2 out of 3. Working understanding, you should probably show majority of this work. To me, I think it's hard to see without graphing what those coordinate points are. Does that make sense or no? Or do you think you can see it without graphing it? For me, I think it's necessary to graph it in order to see those points. Although this was easier, right? Luckily the focus wasn't like the square root of 3, because that would be a lot harder to see. So if you're missing some of this, give yourself a 2 out of 3. If you're missing most of it, give yourself a 1 out of 3. Math accuracy, if you did everything, like all your calculations were right on your paper, give yourself a 2 out of 2. If your scan looks pretty darn good and your handwriting looks pretty darn good, give yourself a 2 out of 2. Multiply that score by 10 and send me a message on Canvas. Label LabWork 9 score and then put down your score. Is that fair? I'll give you that score. I feel like I should be doing this like on week 1 or week 2 so that you guys have a better understanding. Does that make sense? Is this easier to receive it in Canvas message rather than in the comments section of the lab work? In the comments is good? Because the other classes liked it in the Canvas message, but you liked it in the comments? Yeah. Okay. Because then you can see it side by side right away. Okay. So send me a message of what you think that your LabWork 9 grade should be. Okay? You can do that now if you want to. You have a grade in mind already. Be honest with yourself. I'll give you that grade. But you got to be honest with yourself. Are there questions about yours that you want to ask? Now, you guys are pre-calc students, so to me, I'm trying to be letting you guys actually figure things out. Again, do you think without the graph it's easy to get those points? It was easier for sure. But now here's the thing. How do I know that you just that you just wrote down the answer? Does that make sense? Because the answer is already given to you. But if I was to give you the center, the focus, and give you A and B, or A squared and B squared, would you be able to tell me the points right off the bat? No. Does that make sense? All right. So the question in class was, if we didn't graph, should we go ahead and take off that point? And probably yes. Because without the graph, I think it's hard to see where those points are. Especially with the lab work, because the answer is given to you. You kind of have to show how you got those points, right? Well, not really show, but when you graph it, it's kind of like, it's right there. Especially if I left this on graph paper, it would have been a lot easier, even easier to see. Let's see if I... Where did I put it? Should be in there, what we know. It's not in there. Or would it be in here? Here? That's not it. I forgot even where I put it. Definitely, I don't think I put it in here because I did all three lab works on the same sheet. I can't remember. No, I definitely didn't put in here because we did their notes. Say it wasn't there. It's not in here, I don't believe. Maybe it is this? Yep, it is. Right, that's even easier to see. Any other? Yes. I noticed that. So some of you guys did this. So if you guys showed this, it'd be a different story. I'm trying to figure out which way is the best way to do this. Let's see if I can do it here. Why did I go to fall? 23. So some of you guys decided to use this. If you showed it through that, I can't really fault you. But at least you're showing it. So that's okay. So if you didn't graph and use that, that's okay. Is that fair? So the question was, if we wrote this down to find the foci and the vertices, would that be okay? And the answer is yes, instead of graphing it. But again, to me, I think graphing it still makes it easier. And this is your cheat sheet, by the way, if you guys haven't seen it. It'll be part of your exam. You'll get it for exam 3, exam 4, and the final exam, the same exact cheat sheet, both pages. So don't forget that this exam, this page, this side is the only side that you need. The other side is what is coming up for exam 4. So exam 4, you're going to need this side. Exam 3, you only need this side. And then final, you get both. But you're going to get both for exam 3, exam 4, and the final. Okay?
Can you go through number 6 on the lab work?
Number 6 on the lab work. This one right here? Okay. A semi-ellipse. The top of the arch is 35 feet above the ground. Where did I put it? Ooh. Let me go back to it. I downloaded LabWork 10 and LabWork 11. I mean, and the review, but not LabWork 9. Actually, let me just do this. I think this will be easier. Okay, so an arch of a bridge have over a highway is formed by a semi-ellipse. The top of the arch is 35 feet above the ground, major axis. What should the span of the bridge be? The length of its minor axis. If the height 29 feet from the center is to be 12 feet above the ground. That was confusing, huh? And it's going to be a major axis too. Mm. 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 I did this incorrectly. You know what I did wrong on this one? Come on. You bastard. You bastard. Come on. Ugh. Because with this one, I think what it's trying to say is this. Is that. The confusing part is that they're saying semicircle, semi-ellipse, but I got a feeling it keeps on coming. So let me go back to it here. Hold on. Why did that go back that way? Okay. What should the span of the bridge be, length of its minor axis, if the height 29 feet from the center is 12 feet from the ground? Oh, actually, no, the other way. It's going to be even shorter. So the center, here, let me do this here. This goes up here. So the center is 29 feet from the, if the height 29 feet from the center is 12 feet above the ground. No.
I thought it means like to the right of the center, 29 feet to the right, and then up 12. That's what I was trying to say.
Say that again.
So, center, right, 29 feet, and then up 12 feet is a point. He's trying to say.
So you're saying somewhere here, this is 12 feet. You're right. And this is 29. That's what you're saying.
Well, it's like the bottom part is 29.
But it says if so you think this is 29 feet. That's confusing. Assuming that this is 0, 0. Are people at home still seeing this? Oh. I'm moving my screen. It's not moving at there. Hold on, guys. Wi-Fi not so good. Okay. So what do we know? So this must be, so in other words, a 35 feet is what? The vertices? Or the distance from the center to the vertices? Okay. Oops. Okay. What value is that? That's A? Okay. So A squared would be? Okay.
1,200.
And how does that help me? Okay. But how does that help me with B or C? You know what I'm saying? Hey.
I plugged in 29 and 12 for X and Y, and then I just had B, and I was trying to find B. That's how I'm trying to figure out.
So I'm assuming that this is 0, 0, that the center is 0, 0. So that means if 35 is A, that means I'm going to have what? Y squared over A squared? So you're saying that you decided to put 12 squared over 1225 plus 29 squared over B squared equal to 1 to solve for B. Okay. What's 29 squared?
841.
What's 841 times 1225? Really big number?
Yes.
What's the square root of this? Since I can't turn my phone. It's not even locked. Come on.
30.87118. 30.87118.
Hmm?
That makes sense. I multiplied B squared by 1 on like one of the first steps instead of distributing and like getting a common denominator.
Because you will have to get the common denominator, right?
Yeah.
Is that the answer? It is the answer choice? I have no idea. Hey, where did I put it? Hey, but you had the right idea all along, right? So it's just a minor thing. Actually, you got to double that, right?
Yeah, because this. Yeah.
Because this is just the center to the edge. So you got to multiply by 2. Cool. Was that easy for the rest of you guys? Or do you guys just skip in, cross your fingers, hoping that Chan's not going to pick number 6?
For number 7, I thought that the second half was referring to its focus.
Number 7?
Yeah, the way I did it is, I thought that, well, it's a bit hard to explain, but, so, I said the vertex was x comma 35, the height was x comma 12, and then the center was x comma negative 17.
Mm-hmm.
So then I know that a squared is 125 because of the vertex. And then it said 29 from the center. Well, I could just move, and then it says that the height is 35 to the major axis. So I thought that the center was below the major axis, and that would mean that the foci would be above the major axis.
Outside of it, you mean? Is that what you mean? So let me go ahead and do this. You got that, yes? Is this what you got?
Oh, I'm sorry, I mean for number 6, I mean.
Oh, number 6. So back to this one.
Yeah.
Okay, what about it again? So why do you need the foci?
I thought it was referring to the foci.
No, because it's asking how wide or the length of the bridge is going to be.
I mean, for
The 29 and 12? No. Because it doesn't say anything about the foci, so we can't assume it to be the foci. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And I guess as I get stuck on this problem, the way I was starting to draw it, I would have been like, wait a minute. If I was to write out this equation, then I would have realized that it's trying to give me an x and a y so that I can find b. Right? Because what I was trying to draw was saying that this bridge was not a semi-ellipse, but something a little bit further, but it specifically mentions semi-ellipse. So it has to be a half. So how is it 29 feet from the center, being 12 feet high? Until you said that, I'm like, that makes more sense because now it's giving me a point that's x comma y so that I can find the b.
Okay.
Right? So it didn't need a focus or a foci. It didn't need one of the foci at all. But most of these problems, you guys are going to assume that that center is 0, 0. So wherever it is, you're just going to shift it to 0, 0. Because now we're just talking about the length of that minor axis, right? So with that being said, we don't need coordinates, we just need the length. So I would just assume the center is always going to be 0, 0 and shift it that way. Because I don't need to find the point of the vertices. I don't need to find the point of where the minor axes are, right? I just need the distance. So that's why we can shift it to 0, 0.
Can you show number 9?
All right, so we're skipping number 7, going to number 9. Number 9 says the vertices are at 1/2, comma, -3, and -9/2, comma, -3, and asymptotes are y plus 3 is equal to plus or minus 6/5 x plus 2. Okay. Does it mention what shape it is? Hyperbola? Okay. Well, it has asymptotes. Never mind. So with the asymptote, does this mean that my point is going to be here, then it's going to be up 6, 2, 4, 6, right, 5, 2, oh gosh. Let me see where the vertices are. -1/2, 1/2, -3. So that is not the case. Oh. Interesting. Oh, that's not. So clearly this is not what I'm thinking about drawing. But why is it giving me that? Okay, let me do this. Sam something, gam something. Is that going to help me at all? Let me think. Oh, dumbass. Now that's recorded. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4 is not right. 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 5. Yep. There we go. That makes more sense. I switched the x and the y, right? Because this is telling me that I don't need this part. This is telling me that the center is -2, -3. Does that make sense? Which is this point here. Okay, now, I keep on clicking on the wrong thing. Okay, so how does that help me if that's the center? No idea. What's my A, B, and C?
I said A was 5 over 2.
So I have the distance here. Ah, gotcha. Because you're saying the distance from the center to the vertices. Because that's 2.5. Okay. So A squared is equal to what?
25 over 4.
Okay. So the equation for a hyperbola is what? And since this is going left and right, so that means I have is that right? Okay. Do you know what the B is? You guys do know what the B is, actually.
I got B is 3.
No. The B should be 6.
Because it's how far the fraction of the mass is up.
Well, remember that this box, right? These asymptotes are made by this box. This distance here is a distance of 5. So that means this distance here has to be a distance of, oh, and you know what? You're right, it is 3. Because it's going to be 6 altogether. Right? So this box is going to go right? So you're right, it is going to be 3. But it causes, and there's some places where it's going to be A over B instead of B over A. Hey. Is that right?
That's the final answer.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Is it A?
I had that answer, but I just couldn't figure out why the 4 goes on top. Because it's 25 over 4 in the bottom, right? So then I thought the 25 would go up and then the 4 would
Ooh, okay. So, so the question in class is about this right here. So you're dividing fractions, right? So if you divide fractions, wouldn't you do keep, change, flip? That's why the 4 goes up top and the 25 stays on the bottom. Okay? So again, be careful, guys. So the thing I screwed up right off the bat is this, right? Is that I look at -3 and -2 first, right? And look at -3 as the x value and the -2 as a y value, rather than that x value is -2 and the y value is -3. Because it's attached to the x and is attached to the y. That was my first mistake. But when I applied it to vertices, it didn't make any sense. So that's why I had to look back at it going, wait a minute, I screwed up the x and y. Okay? Any other questions?
On the optional method,
Yep.
there's 2 questions that require a matrix. So is it fine if I just use elimination method for those?
That's exactly what I want you to do with number 9
And 5?
and 5. Yes. Because you guys don't know the Cramer's rule yet. That's on exam 4. And the matrix is on exam 4. So I put those 2 on there so that you guys, so don't worry about the inverse. Okay? Because that's what we're going to be talking about in exam 4. So I put those on there because you can use just regular elimination to do those too. So yes, please. Any other questions?
On the optional lab work,
Yes.
we briefly, I think, went over how to do number 2, but I would like a little bit of a reminder and some tips and tricks maybe.
So on number 2, basically your first thing is that you want to group the x's and the y's together. Okay? So because we don't know what the shape is, right? We have no idea what the shape is, so we're going to group those together. So 6x squared minus 12x, and then we have 3y squared plus 18y. Actually, I already know this is an ellipse or a circle, right? Actually, ellipse is equal to positive 21 when we bring 21 to the other side. Agreed? So here, to do completing squares, we have to actually factor out the 6. And over here, 3. Agreed? So then we have to find a new c. So the c is -2. So this is going to become -1 squared, which is equal to 1. So we add 1 here, but we're adding 6 on this side. On this one here, it is 6. 6 squared is 3. 3 squared is 9. So we add 9 on this side and add 27 on this side. And that is equal to, what is that, 54? Is that right, guys? Yeah, 54. Then we're going to divide everything by 54. So this is going to be ellipse with a center of -1, 3. I'm sorry, 1, -3. Do we know why it's an ellipse? Anytime x is squared, y is squared, and it's addition, it's an ellipse. If x is squared, y is squared, and this is subtraction, then it's a hyperbola. If x is squared, y is not, is a parabola, or y is squared, x is not. Okay? So, again, x squared, y, xy squared. I'm sorry. I shouldn't put them together. I should do it this way. Okay? It's either one or the other. X squared plus y squared. X squared minus y squared, y squared minus x squared, because if you think about equation of a circle, that's x squared plus y squared. Because a circle is just, the only reason why it's a circle is because it doesn't have these denominators. It's the denominator that makes an ellipse. Without the denominator, it's just a circle. And this is the reason why, like, I purposely, well, this told me, like, this lab work here told, it just looked like someone jumped from the roof. But it's just one of those parts of the palm that fell. It just looks like someone go whoops. So if you look over here, it says it was ellipse. That's why I did this. But if not, when I would have done the so-called the completing the square, I would have got to this point, and because of the plus sign, I would have been like, okay, it's an ellipse. But here, what I noticed is that the larger number was under the x squared. That's why I specified here for that part. So when you look at the answer key, you will start to see that. Okay? Any other questions?
For number 2 on the test review,
Mm-hmm.
I know like you can find it by like getting the equations of each like parabola and the line, and then putting it for one. But is there like a faster way to like?
Yeah, just use the graph. So this is multiplying f and g, right? So you got to find f of 1 and g of 1. So if I was to ask you, if I was to say find f of 1, what does that mean? So let's even simplify that. What is the what is the y value when x equals 1 on the f function? So if you look on the graph, the f is a line, yes? Okay. So what is the y value when the x value is 1? -2. Great. G of 1. So it's going to mean the same thing except for the g function, right? Okay. So what is the y value when the x value is 1? It's actually not -2. It's actually not -2. I want to.
-3 and -2. -3 for f.
No, I feel like they're. Oh, yeah. 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 It looks weird on the graph, though. Because where they intersect is actually just to the left side of 1. So it's almost like you had, if you blew that picture up and took the edge of the paper and like lined it up to 1, you would see the -2 and the -3. So if you multiply those, it'd be +6. But yeah, you don't have to find the equation of those two lines and then plug it in, no. That's the purpose of giving you the graph, is that all you got to do is just find the y value of those two things and multiply them. Okay? Any other questions? Do you really want me to do number 14? Yeah. Remember why I said about memorizing dumping? IC division. So I'm thinking the quotient rule. So far, so good? Questions? IC product. So that gives you the product rule. Do I see anything else? Go ahead.
4x.
Is a
It's product.
another product. So more product rule. Awesome. Now the power rule. But before I do that, let's do this. Because I got to make that radical into a power, which would be 1/7. Now I can make the power rule happen. And voila. Would that work? Yeah? Any other questions? I don't know why. Let me check something. Let's see if there's some kind of limit to it.
This hasn't been unlocked yet.
Then how do the other people get it?
I don't know. I checked it
You can see the
yesterday. I
PDF on computer.
Huh?
You can see the PDF on computer. The actual quiz is locked.
Oh. So you can open the PDF. You can't open the PDF either? All right, try it now. Any other questions on the review? You only have a whopping 80 minutes to do the exam. Too easy? Haven't looked at the review. Got it? So too easy then. So no questions. I'm willing to answer questions on the review, and there's no questions.
Number 13. Is this like created? So like power up 2x equals 7.
Yeah?
The opposite of E is ln. Minus 2 ln. In the x.
So you got 2x equals ln of 7. So x must equal to ln of 7 divided by 2.
That's it. For 11. Yeah, for 11. Same base. Like,
Make the same base, so 3 to the negative 1 to that power, and 3 squared. That's number 11. And? Anything else?
wait for number 9. Switch x and y.
And solve for y again.
It's not y and then.
That's it. Are we okay with that? Are you sure?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm a little bit confused since like it's like the same thing.
Huh?
I'm kind of confused since like it's the same thing.
What do you mean you're kind of confused because it's the same thing?
2x minus 2 divided by negative 2x plus 3.
Yeah, it's not the same thing.
So all the x's turn into y.
Yeah.
Then after that you solve for y.
So x is going to equal to 2y minus 2 over negative 2y plus 3. Solve for y. By? Bad idea.
You subtract the 2y on both sides, and then you subtract the 3x on both sides.
So we're trying to solve for y.
And then
Here, let me do this. Let me do a little sidebar. If I said 2x minus 3 equals 3x plus 4, how would you solve for x?
subtract 2x both sides, subtract 4 on both sides.
Wouldn't you get all the x's to one side and all the numbers to the other? So that you have x equals negative 7? Is that right? It's the same exact idea. I'm just solving for y. So I want to move the y's to one side and the rest to the other. How? Yes?
You factor out the y from the, and then you get y times 2 plus 2x.
Now you what? How? What the? You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. And then for number 1?
Remember that you gotta look for 1 on the graph, and after that, when you find it, you gotta go to the other one.
Any other questions?
For 24, the transverse axis.
Yes. That's like the major axis.
Okay.
So the transverse axis is, if I have this, this is the transverse axis. The transverse axis is like the major axis. It has the vertices, the foci, and the center on it. And the other one's called the conjugate axis.
For 14, the question itself doesn't just say like expand.
Correct.
And there's it gives you like.
The sum and difference of logarithms.
Yeah, it gives you x is greater than 8, but we didn't do anything with that.
You don't do anything with it.
Okay.
Because the x is greater than 8 is just trying to make sure that the fraction stays defined. Because if you put an 8 into that equation, you put 8 in here, it will make that fraction undefined. So x greater than 8 means absolutely nothing. It's just trying to do a problem that isn't going to be undefined at some point. And then why just say x didn't equal to 8 because I'm sure someone's going to say, well, if it's equal to 7, oh, yeah, it can't equal to 7. It has to be greater than 8. It can't be 7 because why? But no. Why I'm saying the reason why they put down x is greater than 8 instead of x cannot equal to 8. Right? It'd be a negative down here, but I can have a negative in the denominator. But
So it says x is greater than 8.
correct. But what I'm saying is, what if it was to say x is not equal to 8? Why does it say is x greater than 8 and not just x cannot equal to 8?
Because it specifically cannot say x equals to 8 because if you try to insert a value less than that, wouldn't that theoretically get you a negative log or 0?
Okay, so now he's getting to the point. So the reason why this is saying x is greater than 8 and not x cannot equal to 8 is because if I was to use 7 in here, right, it gives me a negative 1, which I can have a negative 1 in the denominator of a fraction. Agreed? However, this whole thing becomes negative. I can't take the log of a negative number. Does that make sense? That's the reason why they have to use greater than 8. Because anything less than 8, I'm now forced to take the log of a negative number, which is not allowed. Because the domain is from 0 to infinity, not including 0. I can't have 8 because that would make that fraction undefined. Okay? The 7 doesn't affect anything above. It just affects the whole fraction. That's what kills it. Okay?
Messed around in my calculator and guesstimated an answer. How are you actually supposed to do that one?
Replace the a with 1529 and solve.
It confuses me when there's multiple stuff up in the exponent or the power in the.
There's not, though. If you have 1529 equals 1300 e to the 0.054 t, right? I don't have anything extra. I just have the t. Right? So the thing I would do is divide by the 1300. It will equal to that, yes? What's the opposite operation of e? You can't guesstimate this part on your calculator, so. And then that's what you would type in the calculator to get the number. Then guesstimating. I mean, here's the thing. The choices only have 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you can plug 2, 3, 4, and 5 into the t and then see which one of those gives you the closest to 1529. On the exam, I can't take that away from you, right? On the lab work, I can. On an exam, you guys got to do what you guys do to get the right answer. As long as you don't forget and remember, memorize and dump. then we'll be okay. Any other questions? Oh, it's already past the time. So, ladies and gentlemen, please have a wonderful, blessed day. Please be safe. Love you guys. I'll see you guys on Thursday for the exam.